There's an alarming new crime trend from the state of Texas, which is now spreading really all across the southeast, and police say it can happen in just a few seconds.
Jugging rhymes with mugging. It spread from Texas to South Carolina. Some police in small towns there weren't even sure what the word meant until the crime started happening in their own districts.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, you guys, I saw this, wanted to check it out. It said the new crime trend is sweeping across the country being America. Now, he said jugging. I would push back. I thought it was pronounced like jugging. You hear it in rap songs all the time. So I believe it's just a term for armed robbery. But I guess we about to find out. So if that's what they talking about, I guess armed robbery is increasing, but maybe there's some more details to it. Maybe there's a dynamic. Maybe it's something very specific, and I just don't know. But I always thought it was just like, I heard it in rap songs. I thought it was at first I always thought it was moving and shaking, but then it started being revealed to me that it's more like armed robbery type of thing. So I think that's interesting. Now, what I would like to do and say and preface this, because a lot of people, watch my channel from outside of the country, and it does seem like America is the wild, wild west. And it can be in certain parts. I was just in Belgium, and the place we were at, Antwerp, was amazing. You felt safe. Everything was just fire, But when I was talking to my buddy who's from there, Anthony Ray, he's like, but if you go to these other neighborhoods, people are getting robbed, pickpockets, this, that, and the other. Now out there, they have less gun crime because it changes to knife crime, So the dynamics are different. They also don't have air conditioning. It's crazy because I was out there during a heat wave, bruh. But I really enjoyed it. But seeing the world as a whole, I've been to some countries like, I feel like online, America can kind of get gaslit because it's actually a really beautiful country, and I travel all the time, and I see all this stuff online, and in real life, unless you're going to the ghettos and the projects and this, that, and the other, you really don't, come face to face with this stuff that much. Now, I posted on my channel, it's going relatively viral here, some dude, a road rage shooting incident very close to my house. And these things, kind of come with the territory when you have a very armed society. So that's interesting as well. But I wanted to check this out. I just, I looked it up, the safest places in America. I think like Wyoming is up there. We'll look at that when we go through all this. But yeah. The U.S. is like the Wild Wild West, but it's also a little exaggerated. There's a lot of nice people, a lot of good people, a lot of, wholesome things going on. But I think the exaggeration online is pretty up there. But if you're not used to this type of stuff, you're coming from another country, it's definitely relevant at some capacity. So let's see what they're talking about here. If you'd like to like, share, comment, subscribe on my video, that'd be awesome. Link in the description of my other channels. Let's go rock.
There's an alarming new crime trend from the state of Texas, which is now spreading really all across the southeast, and police say it can happen in just a few seconds.
Jugging rhymes with mugging. It spread from Texas to South Carolina. Some police in small towns there weren't even sure what the word meant until the crime started happening in their own districts.
Derived from the term mugging, but since a mug holds less, jug is make a bigger score.
This video is of a gunpoint robbery in Sherman Oaks, California. The customer throws his bag of $10,000 cash and the thieves take off. It's called bank jugging. Thieves watch you taking out money from the bank, follow you, and rob you. It can happen quickly anywhere at any time. In Austin, Texas, police report more than 60 cases in the first half of the year. And in California, police have noticed an uptick over the past few months.
Police say you can see a driver who had recently gotten money out of a Chase bank and came to this convenience store on Telephone Road. In just seconds, the 4Runner pulls up, followed by a white Chrysler. And men from the vehicles two break out the windows on both sides of the victim's vehicle before reaching in and taking off with the cash.
And leaving envelopes stuffed with cash or even putting it in a glove compartment. Nothing safe.
The day before,
That was wild. That was strategic. They out here practicing. Like, all right, you're going to get on this side. I'm getting on this side. We're going to get it. Like, it's hard to get away from stuff that's planned. You have to have your head on a swivel. But this is the thing. Your life is never worth the amount of money you're holding. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Your life is never worth the money that you're holding, meaning you are priceless to your family, to your loved ones, to the people around you. You trying to fight back or shoot a mother effer for $1,500, even $10,000, even $20,000. Why you would have $20,000 cash on you, I have no clue. That's crazy. But I mean, that shit happens, right? Insane. But your life is more important than the money you're holding or the material possessions. Because once that's gone, you know the rest, y'all. So, okay, so it seems like this is specific. Jugging, what they're talking about is people following people going to banks, and they're actually robbing people of cash, which is interesting because we're getting more and more into a cashless type of society. As I've started making more money, it's just like all I use is my credit card. Like, it's like I used to be a cash-based person, but it's just so hard. It's just like, man, it's just so inconvenient to use cash. I don't know, wild.
Houston police say this man took money from inside a vehicle at a car wash. When confronted by that vehicle's owner, the suspect showed a weapon before getting away with money also recently withdrawn from a bank.
In North Dallas, he backed his car in, and then 3 armed men jump out of an SUV, run up, and start pointing their guns at him, even pounding on his window, demanding he give up the cash he has on him. In this case, their plan did not work because Mark kept his doors locked and managed to escape.
Investigators say 27-year-old Johnson and 31-year-old Davis Mitchell followed a bank customer who had just withdrawn $75,000. The constable talked with both victims today.
The wife is at home. She has a broken shoulder and some ribs. She has about a 6 to 8 week recovery process. They are very relieved to know that we got these individuals off the street.
About a week ago, this jugging incident took place. You can see that.
I'm just going to state the obvious. It's unfortunate because I always feel like I got to take the brunt of this. But I was like, everyone I've seen on this screen doing this shit is black. Bruh, what the man, when I say I have to take the brunt of this because I'm black, and it's like, I ain't like this. I ain't never been like this, But you have, if I'm being just honest, the majority of violent crimes in America happen with a small, is the word pejorative? I don't know if that's the right word, but man, it's just unfortunate, dog. And if I'm being real, I've seen this in my own community. Like some of the violent things I've seen, well, it's been black and Mexican. I rarely see, and this is the thing. I'm not saying white people ain't committing crimes. I remember this one white dude shanked some dude at this rock bar, and the dude actually passed away. I've seen white dudes get lit, but I ain't gonna lie, man. Like when I just keep seeing footage like this, and every single robbery is black people, and they're even robbing other black people. Like you're just like, what the is going on? And I would just encourage, when I say this as a black community, we start having the conversation. What the hell's going on with the youth in our community, specifically with all this violence?
The video, this man was followed back to his business and beaten and robbed in the middle of the afternoon.
Police say this is Farrell Dembry and 2 others committing a jugging at the Bank of America on Fallon Loop Road last month. A 4th suspect waited in the car. A repairman was working on the ATM at the time.
The suspects had, while he was working on the ATM, pulled up, forced him to the ground, told him to lay there, indicated that they had a weapon, said they would shoot him if he moved.
Dembry disabled a different ATM in St. Louis earlier in the day, triggering a call to the repairman. They then followed the repairman around to different jobs until they got to O'Fallon.
In the video, you can kind of see this guy sneaking around the cars, and he takes something out of your car. What did he take?
He took money. He took the money I just got out the bank. and it was deliberate.
And how much money was stolen from you?
$60,000. I was just trying to, have a little cash to kind of negotiate better and that type of thing. We're never expecting that it was all going to just disappear.
On February 13th, cameras showed the moment he attacked Trung, body slamming her to the ground and stealing her money. He followed her after she stopped by a bank and withdrew over $4,000 to pay for a family trip to Vietnam. The Houston woman's adjusting to having limited mobility, left paralyzed. 18-year-old Joseph Harrell pleaded guilty to aggravated robbery, causing serious bodily injury, and was sentenced to 30 years in prison.
Bro, like, this soft on crime shit, this is weird coming from me too, because, I've had a history with the law at some capacity, nothing like wild, but as you get older, mature, you change. But I was never a violent offender, to me, I don't like making excuses personally. I've committed crimes in my past. I've done, stupid stuff. And seeing stuff like this makes me just feel like I'm a part of the bunch. Like, damn, But I think standing tall and calling it out for what it is pretty damn important. This is malicious. This is cruel. And when you have stuff like this going on in your society, it struggles rising. Now, I do have questions. I don't think it makes sense at any capacity be pulling out $60,000. I've never heard of that. I've been in situations where I'm buying a car, but I've never bought like a new car. I've always bought used cars because I'm just frugal like that. $10,000, $15,000, get a cashier's check. It's the exact same as cash. And then put the name of who you're going to pay on it before you leave the bank. I'm just talking about buying a car. I just can't think of any situation why you would be pulling $60,000 cash out of the bank. And, still, it's his money. He doesn't deserve to get robbed. It's just, that's just an activity I don't recommend anyone do. Pulling out anything over $5,000 could be an issue anywhere, anytime, Well, this is unique. And it's saying it's a trend spreading. And I'm just like, the trend is like a cashless society is what I'm seeing. So I don't know. But the thing I noticed pretty immediate was I was like, damn, man, this is crazy. I ain't seen, it was all black people committing the crime. And they was committed on everyone, including black people. It was just like, damn, that's effed up. I don't understand these movements like Black Lives Matter and BLM because they'll only talk about the injustices or what appear to be injustices that happen to black folks. But why can't we talk about black folks committing injustices? And let's just keep it real. If you're a BLM, then black folks committing injustices on other black folks. Why can't you talk about that within these movements and try to, have a better community? Those type of things irritate me. Propping up, these names of people in the name of social justice instead of just like good men in society, good fathers in society. It's pretty wild stuff. But that's what they're saying, jugging, a new crime trend sweeping across America. Lord have mercy. You guys let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.
City boy, city boy.